Hi there! Let's make some night vision goggles. Scene setup. I turned off the environment light and made the point light very dim. It's supposed to be night after all. Hiding a Suzanne in the shadows, waiting for its prey. Quickly model the night vision goggle. It's just a cylinder with a dark plastic material and a circle inside with a new material inside to it. Let's make this material use a transparent shader. I picked green as this was popping up in my references. And now the bit which is fun. You can make the green value actually higher than 1. This is the roll trick needed for the night vision. This causes more light to leave the surface instead of absorbing it. Nice. My plan is to control the brightness via a single value. Therefore I add a multiply node and a value node. In that multiply node, the socket A will be our green color and the socket B the brightness value. Plug in the value node into the socket B and now you can control the brightness from here. Instead of using the color in the multiply node, I added a combine color node and set the green channel to value 1. This will make sense in a bit. With high values, we introduce a lot of noise. Therefore, I want to make this effect only visible for the camera. This is done by mixing an additional transparent shader via light path node, using the isCameraRay output. If you can't see the surface, swap the sockets in the mix shader via Alt-S. Just to be extra safe, I also made the surface single-sided by adding another mix shader with the geometry backfacing output. Now the fun bits. To make it look good, a strong angle-based fading will fake a certain depth of the goggles. By adding a layer white node with a high value of 0.995 and inverting it via a math subtract node set to 1-, I create a nice fall-off in the goggles. The invert node works here as well, but for whatever reason I seem to prefer gray dots instead of yellow ones. Plug this into the combine RGB node from before. Looking better already. This is also the time I noticed that shade smooth is a thing. Now I want to add grain to capture that weird look night vision goggles have. For the grain I add a Voronoi texture, adjusted scale to look nicely detailed. If we change the noise type to 4D, we get a slider for time offset, which we can animate by using #frame as an input. Now the noise moves nicely. Cool. I then just combine it with the angle fading via math multiply node and we are almost done with the texturing. At last I add a color ramp node to make the soft blobs of the Voronoi texture look more like small round circles. For this I flip the color ramp. I elevate the black levels in the color ramp to reduce noise contrast. To sell the grain effect more, I'm replacing the transparent shader from the beginning with a refraction shader. I set the IRR to something very small. Now we can use the roughness to visually soften the image. I want to make the dark bits on the grain texture to not show any detail, therefore I use it as an input for the roughness. A color ramp is used to control the strength and distribution of the roughness. Looking good! This is it for the night vision part. You can add a lens inside the goggles to create a magnifying effect. Use a UV sphere with a decent resolution, shade smooth and squish it a bit. Add a new material with a refraction shader to it and define the zoom factor via the IRR. Now you have a working night vision goggles in Blender. You can spot Suzanne in the dark and avoid being eaten. Lino from after the tutorial here. This was not a 60-second one, but I tried my best to make it as short as possible. If you enjoyed the work I did with my tutorials, you could stop by on Patreon. It contains the blend files of the tutorials, so you save some time rebuilding them from the video.